We know grocery is an intensely competitive space, lots of changing dynamics, and we know that personalization at scale is one of the holy grails for retailers and grocers, for that matter. How has it evolved in your strategy? Talking about retail media, personalization, and tying it back to the whole in-store experience and inventory management.
Yeah.
How's that evolved over the last couple of years, and where do we see it accelerating in the next couple of years beyond today?
That's a very relevant topic.
Yep.
It's a very relevant topic at the right time for us because we are in the middle of a big transformational change organizationally to deliver personalization at scale.
Mm-hmm.
We have our own loyalty program in the country called Seeing Plus. We have so much of data, but what do we do with it, right?
Sure.
Now, personalization is a term that has been around at least for almost the last decade, where every marketing manager, director, CMOs have talked about as one of their priorities. And it's come a long way, right? I mean, personalization as a topic itself has come a long way. What I believe in is personalization should never feel creepy.
Right.
Personalization should work in a way where it's so seamless that you don't even notice it and you subconsciously act on it. That is habit. And personalization should lead to habitual changes, right? Mm-hmm. That is what we want from our customers, especially in the grocery space, which is such a price-sensitive sector.
Yep.
Prices fluctuation can change the way customers shop. And hence, you need a very strong loyalty. That can be driven only by personalization at scale, which means you need to connect all of your data points. You need to have cohesive reporting. And that is what we've seen over time, that technology, data coming together to shape up the future, to shape up the customer experience.
I think personalization and loyalty are key, but one of the most friction-filled experiences when you all go to grocery stores is the checkout process. Whether you go into a manned checkout, or you go into a self-checkout, or a scan and go, or autonomous, looking at the whole overall holistic experience for consumers, how has really self-checkout evolved, and what role does it play in personalization and loyalty?
Yeah, so hand in hand with our retail partners, right? When you look at the state of retail technology a couple of years ago, it was a very finite. All the self-service devices were basically scan and bag. Everyone had, the modularity of it came in 1 bagger, 2 bagger, 3 bagger. But you didn't have any tall 27, 32-inch screens that could really make it gamified, draw the customer's attention over to that, meet the customer where they are and where they want to interact with that brand. And so we listened to our retail partners and we started developing a bunch of different technology solutions, whether it be a freestanding kiosk like our DN Series Easy Max that is deployed at a lot of grocers and meeting the customer where they are. So over in the bakery, having that interaction. Some customers of yours are going to want to talk to the deli slicer or the baker and talk about their order. Other ones, they just want to sit back either on their app or in the deli kiosk and have that interaction all automated, all streamlined with tech. Right. So that's where we partner with our retail partners and we sit back and say, where are your friction points? Yeah. And let us sit back. We go into your stores and we sit in conjunction with you at advisory services. And we actually this conversation is great because it really shows the value of a true partnership.
Yes.
And removing some of those hurdles to adoption. No matter how great the tech is or what any of our partners want to do, if there's a barrier to adoption, it's never going to work. Right. And to your point earlier, so one customer has a bad experience, they're not going to come back.
Yes.
Or they're not going to use that technology again. So you have to make sure that your solutions that you're implementing are actually ready to scale before you ever put them in a store.
How do you scale? How do you actually provide personalization at scale, one-to-one relationships with consumers, and frictionless checkout and loyalty? And they not only for the holidays, but any surge of demands. Demands go up and down throughout the year, especially on the holiday time frame. How important is technology and capabilities and innovation to drive value, not just for the holidays, but for the long term?
Yeah, I think seasonality is a big driver of innovation, right, for retailers, because seasonality teaches us a lot of things. We've seen, and when I say seasonality, it's not only about holiday or the Thanksgiving, but seasonality can also be like COVID changed the way things were, right? And that was a big learning for retailers as to how we need to have that omnichannel experience. More than ever, what we see is people are still shopping or browsing online, but they're now also going into the stores. That's a big change. To do these things, as I said at the beginning, we have a lot of data, but what do you do with the data is the question. So this is where AI comes in, AI and machine learning,
Yes,
and implementing that,
Yes.
putting it into practice to make sense of the data. It's not about just sitting on an Excel sheet and making certain assumptions based on saying everybody who does that X gets Y. We can't really do that. We have to understand at what stage is each of the customer, at the same time the seasonality. What did we learn from last year, right? So we have to go beyond all of that. So AI and implementing AI is becoming very important for retailers across, and that's not only for grocery, but I would say every sector, because that is where the future is. You want to be able to make informed decisions. To make informed decisions,
Right.
you need to have the infrastructure that actually enables you to make that.
Matt, surge in demand, holiday season coming up.
Some of my favorite topics.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So when you start talking to retailers and brands, it's always about making sure that the store is up and running, right? So you hit the nail on the head about all the data that we have. So from your side, you have a lot of data about the marketing and everything. From our side, we have a lot of data about the actual devices in your stores. So a long time ago, 5 years ago, you had a lot of data. It didn't really matter what you had with it, right? So, but now we're able, so via our DN All Connect services, we can actually be prescriptive, preventative, and proactive with that. So a good example about making sure that we're ready for that peak trading season is we can actually count how many times a printer cuts a receipt.
Yeah.
And with our Gen AI, we're able to actually predict when that cutter blade is going to fail and proactively replace it on the next service visit before it ever fails.
Exactly.
So we can achieve up to a 99.8% uptime, which is industry leading, just by making sure that we're actually taking care of stuff so the retailer never has to worry about it. And what that means for our retail partners is that the cashier, that service associate, is actually servicing your customers.
Right.
They're not on the phone with the help desk calling someone to report an issue. It's a first-time fix. And we do that by also making sure that we have the right part at the right time at the right place. Making sure that you never have to call and worry about a self-service device being down, a printer, and some mission critical systems for your stores.